Obviously, we don't want to be too negative when we lose, but it's a strong reminder because this league is really demanding, and it's a good lesson today.
3 home Premier League wins in a row. It's the first time in over 2 years that's happened at the club. That feels a good base now to build on.
Yeah, it's really important, but at the same time it's frustrating not to have this kind of performance again. It's nothing to do with playing well. It's this kind of performance at home. We need to do that away also because it's our responsibility to play like this.
Wayne, a couple of tactical tweaks today from Ruben Amorim that really paid dividends.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good, important win, but what I really liked was he simplified the game for the players, and Bueno was getting a lot closer to Sesko, which I think really helped Manchester United, especially the first 30 minutes. Sunderland struggled to deal with it. So if we watch here, Manchester United in a good shape, and Bueno and Sesko were never really too far away from each other. When Manchester United were attacking, and then what this means is because they're close to each other, the 3 Sunderland defenders here closest to them have to stay with them, and then that frees up the space for Ahmed to get at the Sunderland fullback in a 1v1 situation, and now they're both in the box, they're both ready to try and get a sniff of a goal, and it doesn't pay off this time, but the intentions were there right from the start. Nothing special, long ball up to Sesko, who I think does this really well, and Bruno making the running behind, as we seen against Chelsea when Sanchez got sent off, and I think this caused Sunderland problems all afternoon. It's a little bit scruffy, and it looks a little bit scruffy, but it's causing Sunderland problems. Sesko gets the ball in a good area to Bruno, and he should do better with the finish, and then Cunha comes on and nothing changes. Ball up to Sesko, Cunha running in behind, Sesko doesn't even touch the ball. He gets a 1v1 and an opportunity to score a goal. So I think that it's a subtle change which Amorim made today, but I think it was the right one. It was clever, and Sunderland really struggled to cope with it, especially the first 30 minutes.
This game had everything that kind of, you'd think, do you throw a new goalkeeper into it? Because from a drama point of view, it could have all gone horribly wrong, couldn't it? They're under enormous pressure, Manchester United. Sunderland coming on the back of a really good start to the season. You throw a 23-year-old in for his debut, and obviously, he's come with a great reputation from Antwerp, the Belgian goalkeeper, but he stood up to that challenge today. Yeah,
it was a big decision, and I think it's difficult to be the goalkeeper of Manchester United, but I thought he's done really well for the majority of the game, and I think you see early on here, nothing crazy, get rid of the ball, and it puts Manchester United on the attack. And when you want your goalkeepers to make a save, he's in a good position, he sees the ball and makes a save he probably should make. And this was the one hiccup he had in the game where he makes the wrong decision, he comes out, and on another day it could cost him and Manchester United. But I thought in the main he done a lot of good things. He had 5 minutes to go, he makes a good save, which stopped it from being a nervous 5 minutes. And then what everyone wants when the ball goes in your box, you want a keeper who can come and command, catch the ball, and I thought it was a good solid debut for him.
And of course, pockets of the crowd shouting, "Are you Schmeichel in disguise?" won't have harmed his confidence, will it, today?
Yeah, I think we all hope he can be the next Peter Schmeichel.
And just briefly, Amorim saying that this was an adult performance today.
Probably mature, I think he means. Certainly in the first 30 minutes. It was a more even game when Sunderland matched them up and changed their system. Sunderland were a much better team and were more competitive then, but it was a huge win for Man United.
Certainly good lessons all round, but a huge relief for Ruben Amorim. He said his team played with more maturity. What did you make of Manchester United's performance today?
Yeah, I think they deserved the win. They come out very positively. They're under a little bit of pressure going into that game because it was everyone was expecting them to beat Sunderland at home, of course. But we know the results that they've had. But no, I think the players went out there. They were very much on the front foot. They had good movement. In the end, when the chances come, they finished them well. Mount's done very well. He's come back from injury, but when he's been put in there, whether he's coming on from the bench or he starts, he's starting to perform similar to how he was at Chelsea years ago, and he'll get better and better. This is his goal.
Well, we used to see him do this at Chelsea. I mean, he gets in really good positions. Technically, he's always been decent. He used to come up with some good goals for Chelsea. He's had a torrid time with injuries, and of course, there's always been criticism of any United player who doesn't hit the ground running and start contributing. So he'll be pleased tonight. He'll be really, really relieved. And now he's given the manager a problem. I think Cunha was on the bench to start today. So Mount come in and did his job. Šeško's come in and scored. Got his first home goal, which is great for any new striker.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you know what's good about that, Dan? Because, like, obviously you want him to do the old up play and that, but in the box, with things like this, if he's not there in and around that, I'd be very disappointed. So to see him moving, getting his foot in there just before the defender is what he's going to need to do. So you can nick some goals, get some confidence, and then start scoring some more goals for the club.
And I guess the question is, on the minds of all the fans, is can they back it up with another win? They've not managed to register back-to-back wins under Amorim. There's now an international break, which perhaps has come at the wrong time for them, and it's Liverpool on the other side of it.
It's Liverpool at Anfield, you know. If it was at home, maybe.
Liverpool has just lost as well.
They've lost. They'll be hungry. They've lost 3 on the trot, Liverpool. That's unlike them. So I think that'll all be forgotten, Liverpool's 3. You know, Man United are in town, you're in our house. It's probably a real tough fixture for Man United now.
And what are your thoughts, Danny, on the fact that everybody's been talking about Amorim and his system and that the players don't actually fit his system well? Do you agree with that? Do you think that's where the problem has been with Man United?
Well, I'm not a big fan of the system generally, but more recently, the games I've seen and the goals they've conceded have been individual errors rather than the system. They've had numbers behind the ball. They've been in good positions in terms of how compact they are. They haven't been stretched all over the place. But when you've got Bruno in the middle of the park trying to track runners and see danger, which he's not done generally all his career, where you've got Luke Shaw in centre-half positions getting physically bullied by someone like Haaland, because he's a left-back primarily, and there's many more examples of these, then that's on the manager for putting the wrong people in the wrong positions, irrelevant of system. The fact is, you're playing for Manchester United. You know, you've got to be competing and be competitive. They've spent a lot of money, and whatever system they play, it looks like they don't have the quality to compete with the best team.
I really think, Dan, that they've got a problem defensively.
I do,
I like that system. Defending as a 5 and you concede, it's very hard then to get a press on properly. United can't press anyone, particularly with Fernandes and Casemiro. In that, just 2 of them in the central midfield. You're going to be outnumbered and you can't really get the press. Even if you've got legs in there, it's difficult. So, but with the ball, they did it to Liverpool last year. It's the best I've seen them do it.
Even Arsenal first game.
Arsenal first game. Yeah. They can play that system with the ball. It's defensively where I think he's got to change. If he's got to change the system, it'll be when the opponents have got the ball, do you slip it? And we see other teams do it. Slip into a 4. But when you get the first 2 or 3 passes, bang, you've now got 3 at the back. You've got your wide men wide and your 2 little inside forwards, however you want to do it. But there's 2 different styles of playing. When you defend, you've got a slight.
But ultimately, whether he plays 3 or 4 at the back, one of the problems is essentially the lack of pace.
Yeah.
And at this level, if you want to go and attack teams and get up.
Manchester United cruised to a rare comfortable home Premier League victory as goals from Mason Mount and Benjamin Sesko secured a 2-0 win over Sunderland on Saturday. With the pressure growing on manager Ruben Amorim after a disappointing start to the season, Mount calmed the nerves around the ground with a fine early finish to break the deadlock. United continued to dominate, with a spectacular save from Sunderland goalkeeper Robin Rofes preventing Bruno Fernandes from adding a sumptuous second before Sesko netted his first Old Trafford goal after 31 minutes. Sunderland were awarded a penalty late in the first half, a decision that was overturned following a VAR intervention, but they never really threatened after the break as United eased to a 3rd home league victory of the season. The result put United in provisional 8th place with 10 points from 7 games, 2 places below Sunderland on 11. Wins, especially comfortable ones, have been in short supply for Portuguese Amorim since he took charge in November. United supporters have slowly started to turn on the new manager as a result, with nothing short of victory over promoted Sunderland, despite the visitors' impressive start to the season, enough to appease the disgruntled masses. Mount's superb control and finish was just what the beleaguered boss needed. The fine strike was the earliest United have scored in the Premier League since Marcus Rashford's goal at Ipswich Town in Amorim's first game in charge. It was only a matter of time until the hosts scored again, such was their dominance. From a long throw, Sesko was alert to the flick-on before steering home his second in as many games. United thought they had shot themselves in the foot as Sesko was penalised for a high boot in his own penalty area, only for VAR to deem it not to be a foul. The hosts took their foot off the gas in the second half, but still should have added to their tally, with veteran Brazilian Casemiro blazing their best chance over the bar. Sunderland did manufacture a late gilt-edged chance, but Senne Lammens, making his debut in the United goal, stood tall to block, completing an assured performance from the keeper and his new teammates.